It is our pleasure to welcome you here on behalf of the Bringing Wetlands to Market project team. It is my pleasure to welcome you here. My name is Tonna-Marie Rogers, and I am the director of the Waquoit Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve. We are a partner with a number of different agencies that have been working on this project since 2011, when we started the first phase, and then since 2015, when we started the second phase. My job this morning is really just to tee up a bunch of different speakers that are part of our team and some who are external to our team, but collaborate with our team members on the topic of blue carbon. And so I wanted to just welcome all of those speakers, thank them for their time in terms of presenting and putting together their talks for today. I want to thank you for your interest in the topic. And I also just wanted to take a moment to tell you who the team members are. In front of you in your packets, you should have an agenda that you can walk through and see how the day will flow. And I want to take a minute to just let you know who the people are that are part of the Bringing Wetlands to Market team and who've been working on this effort for 9 years now. And so first up, I want to just introduce our science and modeling team. And we have Omar Abdulaziz from West Virginia University, and along with him is student Mohammed, is also here today. Kevin with USGS, Megan Gania also with USGS. We also have Jim Tang with the Marine Biological Laboratory, and Serena Mosman-Valtierra from the University of Rhode Island. We also have a number of other people here that I want to point out. From Webner, we have 3 people, our stewardship coordinator, Jim Rasman, myself, and our education coordinator, Joan, that you'll be hearing from today. We also have partners who were originally associated with Restore America's Estuaries, but are working in different capacities today, but still maintain relationships with Restore America's Estuaries. That's Steve Emmett Maddox and Stephanie Simpson. Those partners are with us in the room today, and Stephanie is also now with the Nature Conservancy. We have Tim Smith, who's with the Cape Cod National Seashore, Rebecca Roth with the National Estuarine Research Reserve Association. She couldn't be here today, but she's still actively working on this project even right now where she is. And then we also have Scott Settelmeyer with a consulting firm called Terra Carbon that has been working on the carbon markets piece of this. And so, and this is just for phase 2. We have a bunch of other collaborators from phase 1 that I'm not going to have time to point to today, but I did want to just acknowledge all those folks who have been working so hard on this effort. I also think it's important to just talk about the partners and funders behind the scene. The funding agency for this project is largely the NERS Science Collaborative. That's an entity that funds collaborative research within the National Estuarine Research Reserve System. There are 29 reserves around the country, and they support applied research working with end users of the science on a bunch of different topics, and this is one of the topics that they've supported. Their funding comes from NOAA. And for the reserve that's been helping to coordinate this project, we are a part of the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, and they have been supporting our work all these different years. So DCR is a great partner in this. We also work with our friends group, the Waquoit Bay Reserve Foundation, and they help us to put on events like this and to continue with all the different educational events that we do as part of this project and other aspects of our work. And then all the collaborators that I mentioned before, these are the people behind the scenes. And I also want to mention that funding is also coming in from other sources, from all the collaborators. They themselves get other grant funding that supports elements of this work and related pieces of it. So with that, I wonder if you could just join me in an applause for the BWM team and all the collaborators. So perhaps you have read maybe the just 2-page fact sheet that we sent out with the announcement for this conference, and it just gives you a quick overview of what the project is about, and we've structured today's agenda to kind of track along the main components of the project. So first you're going to be hearing a keynote address from one of our invited speakers, Ariane. I'll introduce her more fully in a second. And then secondly, you're going to also be hearing from all our science team members in the morning, and we have a few external presenters who will be talking about related research on blue carbon that they've been doing. And so that will be our morning. Then right after that in the afternoon, we're going to talk about a model. And how many people love models, by a show of hands? Oh my word, more than I expected. Great, this is a room. But even if you don't love models, this one you probably, we hope that you'll at least appreciate before you leave, because it's an Excel-based model, not too difficult, we hear. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to talk about carbon markets and the Herring River Restoration Project, a case study investigation that we've been doing there, working with partners at the Cape Cod National Seashore. And then to end the day, we want to have a pretty robust discussion on what's next for blue carbon, thinking about New England as a region, but thinking even beyond the New England area per se. And so that will be, we'll cover a wide-ranging breadth of topics in the afternoon, and we want to really invite your participation, your questions, your comments along the way today. And so with that, I'm going to just wrap up my comments and just go through a few logistics. For our speakers, I want to make sure that nobody gets injured. There are steps here that you can use instead of hopping up and down. For everybody, in case you haven't discovered the restrooms yet, they're right out here to my right in the little aisle here. You can find them there. There's always going to be coffee and goodies outside, so please refresh yourselves when you need to do that. When we come to questions and answers, like I said, we want active participation. We'll have microphones being roamed around the room. Some of our staff members from Webinar will be there to take your questions. So please do that and participate then. Also, we're going to ask you at the end of the day to complete an evaluation that you have in your packets, because that helps us to just know what you learned, where we can improve, and how we can help to share this information with others beyond today. So with that, I'm going to wrap up my comments, and I am going to invite my colleague, Jim Rasman from the Reserve. We've been working on this project together for a long time. And right now, I'm sort of remembering right before we got the funding for phase 2, late nights putting together the proposal with the team and scrambling to get that in. You know how it is with proposals, getting everything together. So Jim was a large part of that, and he is the project lead for the BWM project. So welcome, Jim. He's going to give you an overview of the project. Help me welcome Jim.